Okay, the next assignment is called measurement area. It says geometry 4. It looks like this on the front. So you have, it's called a baseball pennant, looks just like a triangle. You have, it says the replica baseball pennant is shown at the left, measures the figure to the nearest ½ inch. How many square inches of fabric will be used to create a replica? So if I want to make it the same thing, what is my total area? So I'm going to use the same formula I've been using before. Area equals base times height divided by 2. So if you measure this out, this is 2½ inches. This is going to be my base. My height is how tall this is. If you measure it, it's 4 inches. This is going to be my height. So now you just plug it in to find the area. Area equals base, 2½ inches, times height was 4 inches. Oh, divided by 2. So area equals 2½ times 4, turn it into an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5/2 inches, times 4 inches, and divide that by 2. So all of this is what you see up here. I still draw my line and divide by 2. So when you work this out, 5 times 4 is 20 inches. There's 2 of them, so it should be squared. Divided by 2. Draw my line, divided by 2. 20 divided by 2 gives me 10 inches squared. Draw my line, divided by 2. 10 inches divided by 2 gives me 5 inches squared. So you have to work this part out first. Don't forget to be putting your divide by 2 each time down here. So whenever you multiply 2½ inches times 4, that gave you 20 inches squared over 2, because it was a fraction. 20 divided by 2 is 10 inches. Then I'm finally using this divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5 inches squared. So that's your total area. Said if the fabric costs 25 cents per square inch, then how much will it cost to create 5 replica pennants? So 25 cents for each square inch. So I need to figure that out first. So 5 inches squared times 25 cents equals $1.25. That's to make just one, because you have to take your total area for one pennant times 25 cents for each square. So 5 times 25 cents gives me $1.25. I want to make, it said, 5 more pennants. So you have to multiply this number by 5, and that gives you $6.25. Down at the bottom, it's just like what we were doing before. We have a trapezoid, so think back to what we were doing the last time. Our formula is area equals half base 1 plus base 2 times height. So on the trapezoid, if you'd measured this out, base 1 is 1½ inches. Base 2 is 3 inches. And then your height, you have to draw the little line going down. It was 2 inches. So area equals half. Plug in your stuff. Base 1 was 1½ inches plus base 2 is 3 inches times height was 2 inches. Area equals half, PEMDAS, do parentheses first. 1/2 plus 3 inches, that's going to be 4½ inches because I added my 2 whole numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus I have a ½ inch. Multiply that by 2 inches. So area equals half. Whenever I multiply this together, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 9/2 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18 over 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches squared. One times 9 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2 inches squared. Whenever I turn it sideways and work it out. 2 times 4 is 8. Big dog daddy 4 and 1/2. So area equals 4 1/2 inches squared. 4.5 is the same thing as 4 1/2. On the back, you're going to do the same exact thing. But this time it's not a trapezoid, it's a parallelogram. So it's just area equals base times height. So it's 3 1/2 times 1. Three 1/2 times 1 1/2. You have to turn them in improper fractions. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 2 times 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is a 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 2 is 4. Turn it sideways and divide. 4 will go into 21 4 times. Big dog daddy 4. And, oh, shoot, we'll go there 5 times. Sorry. Subtract it. Big dog daddy number is 5 1/4 inches squared. Down at the bottom, it's the exact same thing as this one. We just used area equals base times height. You're going to do the same thing. Area equals base times height. 3 times 2 inches is going to be 6 inches squared. Use the paper. Use the formulas that I've given you. Go back and refer to this. So you're going to need a ruler for this. If you do not have a ruler, then you can skip this assignment. But it's not very hard. You're just measuring the base and do your little dot, dot, dot lines to measure your height to plug these in. On the first part, it says, she cuts out the following. Use the shapes below to answer questions 1 through 5. Round all measurements to the nearest 1/2 centimeter. So if you have a ruler at home, you can do this paper. If you don't have a ruler at home, then just don't worry about it. When you finish that, now you're going to take a quiz. It's just a 2-sided. If you do not have a ruler at home, you don't have to do number 10 because it says you have to use a ruler, but you can do 1 through 9. Use the papers that you have here with all their formulas. It says calculate the area of a square. That's going to be base times height. Then you have your triangle. You have your trapezoid. You have a triangle. You've got, it says down here, parallelogram, volleyball court. It gives you the total area and the feet. So you're going to have to do some dividing there because they've already given you area. On the back, they've given you all the numbers for the parallelogram. You just have to plug it in and figure out what the area is. On number 8, we haven't talked about this in a while. It says triangle XYZ. It says angle Z equals 42 degrees. Angle Y equals 68.4 degrees. Remember, you're going to do angle X plus angle Y plus angle Z equals 180 degrees. Then plug these in. So you've got angle X is what we're trying to find. Angle Y was 68.4 degrees plus angle Z is 42 degrees equals 180. So now you're going to have to add these together and an inverse operation, subtract it to figure out what angle X is. Same thing for 9. You guys can do this. Go back and look at the other videos or look at your other assignment sheets. Okay, get started on it.